What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great day. As always, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to break down the front Dana 60 build for my Jeep WJ, go over all the parts we're going to be using and just different things that we're going to be putting in this axle. So the plans have changed a little bit just because parts are so hard to get right now and some of the parts are extremely back ordered and I really don't have the time to be waiting all this time. So we're going to change up the build just a little bit and throw some different parts in it, but then we're also going to order the parts that I want. So that way, eventually when they get here, we can upgrade the axle as it is. So let's go over all that right now. We'll head over to the axle, show you guys what we're working with. All right, so here it is, the front Dana 60. This is going to be going in the blue WJ. My goal is to have both these axles torn down by the end of the night. And so we got to finish tearing down that one and take the knuckles off of this one so they're easier to move around. Then we'll clean them up. But today we're going to go over what's going to be going inside of this axle. So for starters, start with the locker. So I'm either going to be running an ARB air locker or a Yukon air locker. I really like the air locker because that's what we have in the Wrangler and it works perfectly. So I'm going to get one of those for these axles as well. It's also super simple just to flip a switch and have your lockers on. I'll show you that in the Wrangler right now. So if you're up on an obstacle, you can literally just compressor on, then flip either of these switches. This is my front air locker and this is my rear air locker. You can just engage them directly from a switch. So that's a lot easier. So that's the plan with these axles as well. We'll be doing an air locker front and rear in both of these. As far as gears go, we're going to be throwing in some 538 gears, probably get some Yukon gears. And that should be sufficient enough to spin the big tires with the little 4.0. So we're going to be putting massive tires on this. They're going to be bigger than those on the Wrangler. So these things are going to have to be able to spin those, and the gears are going to help a lot with that. So we're going to go 538s as the gears. And those are the two parts that I really need to get now, so that way we can go ahead and set up the diff. Those will be the hardest to interchange when it's on the Jeep, and it's much easier to do it while it's sitting up on jack stands like this in the garage. Everything's just 1,000 times easier there. So I need those two parts to get this thing ready. Then for the rest of it, we're going to throw in what would be my replacement parts, but will now be the parts we run until the good parts get here, basically. So axle shafts, I'm just going to throw a set of chromolyes in this for the time being until I can get my hands on some RCVs for this. RCVs are definitely the end goal. It's also what we have in the Wrangler, and I really like those. I've got no issues with them so far. And I also just realized my stabilizer is no longer connected. So we'll have to fix that. But definitely RCVs, they're on the list for sure. We're going to be putting those in this once I can get my hands on a set. That's going to obviously be later on. But we're going to do chromolyes for now in this, and then we'll save those as backup parts so we can take them wheeling with us on long trips. That way if we ever break an axle shaft, even though RCV has an amazing warranty, we'll just be able to throw those in and continue wheeling. Now knuckles, we're going to go with Reed Racing knuckles, also what I have on the Wrangler. Really like those and they're really nice. So we're going to go ahead and get a set for this. I'm going to try to get those when I get the locker and ring and pinion. That way we can get those on there now. But if I can't, we'll just get a different set of knuckles and probably run those. I don't see any need to replace them with Reed knuckles unless we mess up one of these and everything like that. So we're going to get chromolyes, Reed knuckles. That's the plan there. Ball joints, I'm planning on doing a ball joint eliminator. So we'll go ahead and do that because that seems to be the way to go. Been talking to quite a few people who run those and they seem really, really nice. Also, another thing we're definitely already going to need, and I already actually have, is the truss. So once we have all these brackets cut off, we'll be able to weld the truss on. Once the truss is on, it'll essentially have all the brackets to be welded up or bolted up underneath the car. So we're going to go ahead. We went with the Artec truss for a JKU actually. So technically I could bolt this axle into that Jeep. However, I'm not going to. But we got those because it's basically the same. I believe we just have to move the spring purchase in a little bit, which I'm honestly not even sure if I'm going to do that because it shouldn't be enough to make a huge difference as long as we have coil retainers, lower and uppers. So we got an Artec truss for this. I just have to finish cleaning up all these brackets and all that stuff from the factory on this axle. And I also have to cut back the cast section 2 inches, I believe, in order to make room down here for the spring perch. So once that's all done, we'll go ahead and weld up the truss and get that all installed. Now, as far as like wheel hubs and brakes and all that stuff, there's just so many options out there for that I haven't even decided yet. And none of them seem to be crazy back ordered, so it's not a huge worry right now. So we're just going to get what I can for that. See, I'll look into a couple different options of what other people run. Definitely want upgraded brakes because even those tires weigh a ton. So I can't even imagine what the tires and wheel combo on this is going to weigh. So we're definitely going to need bigger brakes in order to stop all that weight. Then you have like the other miscellaneous stuff like seals, bearings, all that. We'll do Timken bearings. Just get a rebuild kit for seals and shims and everything. That way we can get this all put together. But really, that basically is the big components that I just went over that we'll be running in this front axle. I'll make a similar video for the rear axle. That way you guys know what I'm running in there. And once this whole series is done and we have these under the Jeep, you'll be able to refer back to these videos and see what we're running. And if you guys want to do this yourself, you'll see what things I picked out. And you'll also have videos on how to install all those things and how to get them under your Jeep. All right, guys, so I'm going to link all of the products that I went over today and all the products we'll be using on this axle in the description. So that way you guys can like look back at this. Once the axle's under the Jeep, if you guys are following along with this or trying to also do this, because we're going to be documenting this whole series, basically showing you how to do this. I'm going to go over every single step, how to build the axles, how to prep the axles, how to put them under your Jeep, how to get them all set up properly, installing ring and pinion, running the airlines for the lockers, all of that stuff. So that way you guys have a parts list. They'll be down below in the description for you guys to check out. I think first thing on my axles is going to be ordering the locker and the ring and pinion so we can set that up. Once that's all set up, everything else is easy to exchange on the Jeep, so that's not as big of a deal. Like knuckles, we can swap out fairly easily. Axle shafts, no problem. Most of the stuff's easy to do except for the ring and pinion, so I want to do that while it's out of the Jeep. So we're going to go ahead and order that up soon and also tear apart the rear axle, so you guys can expect a video on that soon. There's a lot less going on in the rear axle since there's no like steering components or anything, so that should be easier to take apart. We'll see how good of a condition that's in. The front was in really good condition, so I guess we'll see about the back, see how well that works out. But if you guys are new to this series, we're going to be documenting the whole thing. I'll be making a playlist on my channel on how to one-ton swap your Jeep WJ. I didn't really see many videos out there on how to do this for the WJ specifically, so I figured I'd go ahead and make it since we'll be doing it. We're also going to be doing a Wrangler axle swap in another WJ. We'll be putting the Wrangler axles in the black WJ, putting the 1-tons in the blue WJ. So we'll be making series on both axle swaps so you guys can see how to do it. Then at the end, we'll do like a comparison video. We'll do like a price breakdown of both of them. All of that kind of stuff so you guys can really pick out which one's best for your specific application. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.